Welcome to my views on news. Saturday's first video. Breaking news is about drone strikes on Getachew Reda's house in Mekelle. When was this drone strike conducted? We have details for you. Did he survive or not? Secondly, this morning, Saturday morning, three cities of Tigray were hit in drone strikes and airstrikes. In one of the incidents, Tigray forces tried to engage a jet of Ethiopian Air Force. Tigray forces used anti-aircraft guns. We have details from three cities for you. Before that, viewers, a very important news story about humanitarian aid workers. Those who are working in Tigray, especially in Mekelle. Is Ethiopian government deliberately endangering the lives of these aid workers who are already at risk? We have details for you which indicate that Ethiopian government seems to be punishing these aid workers in Mekelle. What is happening there? Viewers, in Mekelle, there are offices of several aid agencies like WFP, ICRC, UNHCR, IUM and others. And there are more than 100 humanitarian aid workers of these agencies in Mekelle. Now, we know that the third phase of this war started on the 24th of August. After that, these agencies, the representatives shared lists with Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia of those aid workers whose services are not required in Mekelle, because aid operations are now limited. There is no fuel, there is no cash. So that is why aid operations have been scaled down. So there is no need of more than 100 aid workers in Mekelle. And that is why these aid agencies shared lists of extra aid workers with Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and aid agencies requested Ministry of Foreign Affairs that some flights should be arranged or by road travel should be allowed so that these aid workers could leave Mekelle, Tigray's capital, towards Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital. But so far, MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, has not responded. No flights are being arranged for these aid workers trapped in Mekelle. They're not being allowed to travel by road as well. Though it's risky for them to travel by road, but they are ready to travel by road. But no one is allowing them to travel by road. Of course, they need permission from Ethiopian federal government. Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia is endangering the lives of these dozens of aid workers in Mekelle. I don't know what their country representatives are doing. Aren't they taking up this issue with Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia? These aid workers are already endangering their lives by working in Tigray, where on daily basis drone strikes, airstrikes are being conducted. They should be given priority. Their issues should be given priority. But Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia is silent. And secondly, viewers, airstrikes and drone strikes are being conducted in deconflicted areas. What are the deconflicted areas? These are those areas in Mekelle where there are UN offices, where there are offices of aid agencies. coordinates of these offices have been shared by aid agency with Ethiopian federal government so that no strikes should be conducted in these areas. But reportedly, some drone strikes have been conducted in these deconflicted areas. Very close to their offices, some bombs were dropped. So they are extremely scared, you can say, in danger. I don't know what UN leadership is doing in New York, in Geneva. Why can't they raise this issue with Ethiopian federal government that lives of UN staff, other aid agency staff are in danger in Mekelle? Will Ethiopian government respond to the call of these aid agencies and arrange some flights for the return of these aid workers from Tigray? That remains to be seen. Secondly, viewers, we have received some credible information about Wednesday's drone strikes on Mekelle. On Wednesday, twin drone strikes were conducted on Mekelle city. More than 10 were killed. Mekelle Hospital chief executive confirmed around 10 casualties, then 2 died afterwards. So 12 casualties have been confirmed. What was the target in Wednesday's drone strikes? Well, what we have learned and confirmed now is that Getachew Reda's house in Mekelle was hit. Of course, it's in a residential area. What was the purpose of carrying out 2 drone strikes? First was carried out to hit his house, and second was a strike that in case he's not hit and he's trying to flee his house. That is why second drone strike was conducted on his house. Reportedly, he survived this drone strike. He is safe. Tigray leadership, TDF, TPLF leadership, their residences are being targeted. They are in residential areas. Civilians are in danger too. TPLF, TDF is part of Tigray. They're part of the people of Tigray. You cannot isolate them. That is why, obviously, airstrikes, drone strikes are against specific targets, but civilians are in danger too. They'll be killed too because DDF, TPLF leadership, their offices, their headquarters, all are mostly in residential areas. Thirdly, viewers, since this morning, air campaign has been intensifying against Tigray. The biggest disadvantage that Tigray is facing is the air superiority held by Ethiopian federal forces. 3 cities of Tigray. Firstly, Wakro was hit around 40 kilometers away from Mekelle, Tigray's capital. Secondly, Shire was hit. We know that Ethiopian and Eritrean forces are trying to move towards Shire. They are around 20-30 kilometers away from Shire city, but before their major ground offensive on Shire, they are intensifying drone strikes, airstrikes on Shire. Yesterday as well, Shire was hit. And thirdly, Mekelle was hit once again. This is the 3rd time that Mekelle was hit. We're not sure about target this time. Maybe in coming days we'll be able to talk about the real target. But Kindeya and other Tigray officials say that the bombs in Mekelle were dropped close to Mekelle's hospital. What we have learned is that there was a jet and a drone flying over Mekelle. Jet was engaged by Tigray's anti-aircraft guns, but it managed to, jet or the drone managed to drop some bombs on Mekelle close to a hospital in Mekelle city. So you see that airstrikes are intensifying. Yesterday, Tigray was hit too. and Abergale as well. We have received so many reports about airstrikes. We only share those reports which are on major places. Otherwise, dozens of drone strikes are being conducted on daily basis. This is a very crucial phase of this war because Tigray obviously has no capability to defend from these airstrikes and drone strikes. Can Tigray manage to hold on to its territories while this intense air campaign is ongoing? That is the most important question. Like we saw in November last year, that a sudden intensified drone strikes campaign started. Tigray decided to retreat from Harafar region. We are seeing the same. So this is a very crucial phase. And if somehow Tigray forces manage to hold on to their territories for a few weeks, these airstrikes will gradually become less significant. Now they are of significance, but gradually they lose significance if Tigray forces managed to hold on to their territories. But it's a very difficult task to remain in control of major cities in Tigray while on daily basis drone strikes, airstrikes are being conducted. Nothing for